All right, thank you, gentlemen. Those are opening statements. We're now just going to have a conversation about issues. I'll start off by asking a question of the governor, but the other two of you should feel free to jump in and respond to what he has to say, and we'll just be off and running at that point. Governor, Charlie just alluded to shortfalls in the budget coming up for next year, upwards of $3 billion estimated. And we've been filling in over the last couple of years using extra bonuses being sent down from Washington to keep things afloat. Is that a mistake? Would it have been better to confront the declining resources earlier and not use rainy day fund, not use federal dollars, but instead make the cuts earlier and be ready for what's coming?
Well, first of all, we've made a lot of cuts. We've had a very blended approach to this budget downturn. We've cut, in many cases, worthy programs and services, $4.5 billion in services that we've cut out of this budget. We've eliminated over 2,600 positions, more to come. We've gotten concessions from the state employee unions. We've done furloughs, pay freezes. Frankly, what everybody else has had to do, which is figure out how to make do with less. The rate of spending increase since I've been in office is frankly half what it was when Charlie was in charge of the state budget. So, and I will also say this: our stewardship of this budget through this crisis has been complimented and cited by the rating agencies in giving us a AA bond rating twice now. So yes, they are very, very difficult choices that have to be made that we must continue to make because we're not out of this yet. And as you know, Todd and Tom, you'll remember this. State revenue, all government revenue, is backward looking. You're collecting taxes based on the past instead of going forward. So we've got some challenges yet ahead. But when I think about the people who depend on those services, the seniors who are depending on help from their state government, the vulnerable people, homeless people who are depending on help, the teachers and students who are depending on the sustaining of state support for public schools, yeah, I think we did exactly the right thing by taking this blended approach.
I just think that, in all due respect to the governor, I think we spent down our rainy day fund. This is Tim Cahill talking, by the way. We spent down our rainy day fund too quickly, too fast. We spent down about $1 billion, I think $1.9 billion in 2 years, and the stimulus money is going to be gone at the end of this year. It's supposed to last 3 years. So I would have liked a more blended approach, more cuts as opposed to using all the stimulus money. And as you said, Todd, the day of reckoning is coming. We're going to have to make those serious cuts next year. It's going to be hard to do that, especially if we're trying to talk about bringing taxes down at the same time. But government has to learn to live with less. All of the stimulus money, or 90% of that stimulus money, has gone to prop up the public sector. None of it really, and I don't just mean here in the state, I mean in the country, none of it has really gone to really incentivize and build up the private sector jobs. And that's where stimulus really should and needs to go. If we just continue to prop up state government and public sector jobs, there's not going to be any private sector money to grow our economy and to pay for some of those.
Let me hop in.
Hey, can I just one point on this? You know, that rainy day fund had $2.4 billion in it when the governor took office, and he started spending that rainy day fund before it started to rain. We were the state of Massachusetts, and Tim, you didn't say one word about that. We started spending the rainy day fund in early 2008, and we started spending it. We had spent $700 million out of that fund before the economy even started to crash, which meant that $700 million wasn't there. Spending increased 20% during the governor's first 2 years in office. And we basically set ourselves up as a state to be in a position when that third downturn came that we suffered. And we suffered in a way that went way beyond the way we would have suffered if we'd actually been a lot more disciplined about our spending. And Governor, you know, I got to tell you that you talked about teachers. I've been spending a lot of time in and out of schools over the course of the past few months because I've been talking to teachers and administrators about the MCAS stuff and the fact that Massachusetts keeps talking at this point in time about walking away from the MCAS. And
nobody is talking about walking away from the MCAS.
Hold on. Let's try to keep this on the budget issue.
When I listen to those schools talk, what they talk about a lot is the fact that they're having to lay off teachers, class sizes are getting bigger because of local aid cuts, and because folks like you aren't willing to give cities and towns the same authority that you have to manage and adjust your health insurance benefits.